Hello and welcome on in to North of the Broad. I'm Jessa Jeremiah filling in today for host Robin Zimmerman. We're in Beaufort. We're filming at the Pat Conroy Literary Center and we have a big show to talk about with you today lots on the docket. First up, we've got JOToole, who is joining us, Executive Director of Beaufort County Economic Development Corporation. A bit of a mouthful and good reason for it. There's a lot happening. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, great to be with you, Jessa.
So we're talking today, of course, about economic development, and there has been, and anyone living and visiting the area knows about the growth and the interest that has grown here in Beaufort County. Let's chat about that.
Sure. Our organization, the Economic Development Corporation, we'll just call it that, keep it simple, was stood up some 5.5 years ago. Leaders in the county recognize we have a strong defense component to our economy. We have a strong hospitality and tourism component to our local economy, and that's like having a two-legged stool. So we were kind of put in place, the Economic Development Corp, to kind of build out a more diverse economy for Beaufort County. And so in our first 5.5 years, we've done $330 million of little projects that have plugged in. And we're quite proud of the fact that we've done some 60 projects that were scalable. Didn't upset people who were thinking not in my backyard, or people who have a genuine concern about the environment. So the fact that we're able to build out the economy and fit it into the fabric of our community kind of seamlessly is something that myself and my colleague Charlie Stone and our board of directors take a bit of pride in.
Yeah. Oh, as you should. And it sounds like a much needed entity and organization. And let's talk a little bit about how it's going. Obviously, you've been extremely busy.
Yeah, it's interesting. We felt like going into COVID, we had a lot of excitement, a lot of momentum build up, and economic development, as you can imagine, if you're thinking of moving an operation from Japan to the U.S. or from New Jersey to South Carolina, you want to get into the community and figure out if it's a good fit for you. So during COVID, people couldn't really come down here and kick the tires and figure out what the value proposition was here. But now that COVID's kind of released its hold on the U.S. economy, there's a focus on reshoring or moving manufacturing back to the U.S. There's kind of an influx of projects. So I mentioned earlier, in our first 5.5 years, we've done $330 million. Probably safely in the next 4 months, we'll probably book another $150 million. So imagine achieving 50% of what we had done in 5 years in the next 4 months. And some of that is efforts over 5.5 years, but there's a lot happening. And again, if you listen to our county chairman, Joe Passament, council chairman speak, it's kind of that live, work, and play balance. And we want to do it in a way that keeps what we all love about Beaufort County intact, while creating opportunities for the next generation to work in Beaufort County.
Yeah, just thinking about that dollar amount, how many jobs that must translate to, it's really amazing. So how are people reacting when they hear about all of this that is happening in this last 5 years and then in the upcoming 4? What are they saying?
Well, it's interesting. First, usually people are surprised that we have had the results we've had. Over those 5.5 years, some 1,450 jobs, wow, averaging about $47,000 or $48,000 a year. They're happy to know we've achieved these results without really showing up on the radar screen. Kind of a cautionary tale. One of our investors, a group, came down from Charleston and invested $15 million in a glass recycling plant here in Beaufort County. They said, Beaufort reminds me of Charleston 30 years ago. And that can be flattering, because obviously Charleston's a wonderful city, but it can also be a cautionary tale to make sure that your growth doesn't outpace the infrastructure. So we not only focus on economic development, but keep an eye on transportation build-outs and workforce housing build-outs as well are important. And so it's kind of important, back to our county council chairman's point of view, is that I look at life as a wheel, and each spoke is important on that wheel. Education being probably as important as the environment, economic development, transportation, workforce skill development, and then workforce housing are kind of the 6 important spokes to the balance wheel that is Beaufort County.
Wow, that was very well said. Lots of considerations to be made.
Yes.
Well, I've learned a lot from you today. I'm sure there's a lot more to discuss, but thanks for giving us a little insight into what you're all working on. We appreciate it.
Nice to be with you. Thank you,
Thanks
Jessa.
again, JOToole with the Economic Development Corporation. This is North of the Broad, and we'll be right back.